Warning, this video features a ship that is primarily acquired via gambling mechanics in game. The chance of winning this ship is extremely low and there is no guarantee that you will win, no matter how much you gamble. As a result, I must strongly advise that if you think you have a gambling problem, please stop the video and seek assistance. Without further ado, let's begin. Well, I do seem to be changing my look a bit, don't I? I'm finding it very hard to settle on what I'm doing with my main captain, okay? Greetings and welcome to ShadowStar. I'm Ri'shad, aka the Renegade, and this is a Star Trek Online visual review. However, for now, I'm bypassing the sickness, and we're going to be talking about the Shiva class. The most recently added Section 31 Intel Dreadnought Cruiser, which has a lot of similar points to the Section 31 Command Heavy Battle Cruiser. The Shiva class is a beautiful ship, and a fair bit for me to talk about. We will be glossing with looking at her customization options, if I'm honest, because there isn't a lot there. And as far as Vanity Shield goes, I'm actually going to skip that. Now, I apologise if you would like me to take a look at the Vanity Shields, then do comment and I will make a video for it, but let's be honest, I will kind of give away why in a moment, but it's not a big thing to look at with this ship. Problem with plates. Now, with that being said, shall we begin? So, once again, allow me to introduce you to the Section 31 Intel Dreadnought Cruiser. A beautiful ship. And in this lighting, looks like her hull is kind of bluish. I mean, I'm not going to argue too much with it. The Shiva class is beautiful. It's very disappointing, though, that we've yet to have a Section 31 bridge. For Lord have mercy, why not just give it the Kelvin bridge? No, the Kelvin Intel Dreadnought bridge. Give it that one to this ship. It would be brilliant, perfect. I would love it. Do that. Come on. Come on, Cryptic. It's not hard, is it? I mean, shouldn't be. We also have extra materials, which is useful because we have no extra modifications. Now, you can have some fun with this ship and plaster around, hitting different blocks on, but as you can see, randomly painting extra blocks doesn't really achieve much in the looks. The main problem for this is the fact that this ship hasn't got areas for it all, which results in basically you're not going to be using paint jobs and patterns. It could be fun to try. Oh, hang on. Looks like it might have been glitched a little bit. Let's throw all Corvus on just for the fun of it. See what we get. This was glitched to me even worse earlier. Huh. You can try to achieve some random stuff though, but as you're seeing, it's all turning black. If I go, let's say type 5A on it, they're gone. Oh, they're back again. So if I undo and then do it again, how about type 1 again? Yeah, you're not really seeing it. It's a letdown, I know. Honestly, I would have very much like Cryptic to think about this and go like, oh, okay, we'll leave options for paint jobs for the ship at least. They didn't. We do have a different hull types as you saw though, but as you probably noticed, certain panels on the ship will not change. These are the panels that are launched from the ship to achieve its drone swarm. More talking about them in a bit. I mean, I'm going to have to, because a lot of people's... I shared this ship on a certain other YouTube group's Facebook page, and I noticed from the comment section there a lot of people have a certain dislike, so we will talk about that dislike. Mostly because I have a similar dislike. But one thing I will note and say I do like is I like the blue and glowing elements when you do change the ship up a little bit. Go for Galaxy and you get these nice blue glows here. That they all look like they've got some level of extra deflector set up on the ship. And I like to think of it as this ship is sort of over-engineered. What we're seeing here is sort of high-end shield emitters that create a very strong and deadly shield for the ship. After all, I would always expect a ship of Section 31 to far outclass any other ship that you may see. I do think the Defiant looks interesting on this ship, but again, due to the way the ship is designed, you don't get all of the great benefits. Like, I would have liked to have seen these ribs down the side here turn copperish. But it's just the way the hull plates work on this ship. You don't even really see RCS thrusters on it, so there's no gold or yellow from them. The ship just ends up being very bland in its colorations. Unless you go, like I do, and just be happy with the straight up Section 31 look. This isn't to say the Discovery hulls don't look good on the ship, because some of them do work alright. I think that's just a side effect of it being all Discovery era. Admittedly, some fit better than others. Some make other things pop. Others make it all just disappear. Personally speaking, this really does come down to a taste thing. And you know my taste. All the way back, take the Shiva, let's go out and take a look at her details, shall we? I'm sorry. Wow. Oh, Jem'Hadar runs in. Okay, let's be clear. We got a lot to talk about on this ship. And this ship I have been dying for. Why? Well, because as much as I like foreign nacelle designs, and thus you'd expect me to love the Command battlecruiser, I'm actually more of a fan of Miracle Workers and Intel ships over Command. Command is actually, I would say, my third favourite, though tying with Temporal. As a result, well, I've been dying for a more powerful Intel ship from the Section 31 lot. And we got this beauty. Yes, I know about the size ship. What? I didn't like the look of that one. Okay. With that being said, I was also dying for this ship purely because Miranda aesthetic. And I'm sorry, but the second I spotted amongst all the Section 31 ships the Miranda one, I'd been dying for this, and I'm not joking. It's literally first time watching through, I actually had to pause the video because I saw it straight away. I was like, oh, Miranda. Yes. I mean, a lot bigger than the Miranda. Let's be fair. I mean, give you an idea, those ball turrets are about the same size as you'd expect on a Miranda. Now think about the placements of them on a Miranda, and you get the actual size difference between this ship and the Miranda. But I will say, the model that brought this into the game did an excellent job, so we have a lot to talk about. Let's start off with the fighters and seeing them in action. Which means we're following you. My fighters are back here. Let's quickly troll over to them while they're just sitting there. Oh no, they're glitched. So we'll let them enter combat and we'll have a better look at them then. 3 vessels up ahead. Perfect. Oh, now those of you who saw my review of the recent Science Dreadnought, Yeah, you notice that I really ripped apart its pets? You're going to see a very good example in the whole lot here of why I ripped apart its pets. This is the pets of the Intel. This ship. It's going to do a better job once I stop firing my own biural anti-protons. Yeah, I made a mistake. Let's wait for me to stop firing so we can see the ships better. Let them now go nutty and we'll stop there. Come down here. You've got to love the way this looks. I'm not really a fan of the way it fires from the ships, but you've never seen them up close, so it's not a bad thing. Now, I'm sorry, I'm seeing these little pets and I'm thinking to myself, are we going to get lucky enough to have one of these Section 31 drone ships as a shuttlecraft? It wouldn't make any sense because technically they're too small for that. I mean, it's not that they're actually too small, but you can tell by the size and planing of them, they've only got one, of course they've only got one deck in them, but they're actually more compact and designed. As a Section 31 ship, they are drones. Think droid starfighters from Star Wars. You can essentially say these are the same things. I very much doubt they were manned. I can't see the AI doing that. But let's just be fair as well. The covert phasers from these ships sound beautiful. They've got the TOS phaser sound, which I am a fan of. They look amazing with that orange and red glow. That really looks energized. And when you see them just bombarding a ship like this, and the ship is completely engulfed, it's just a spectacular sight to behold. Even better with what we're going to see in a bit. But let's see him rip apart even more. I'll let it funnel on just a little bit. Where's myself? Oh, I'm reversing for some reason. Oh no, I know why I was reversing. I was trying to stop them firing at me. I wanted them to shoot the pets. Bear in mind that during this whole period, none of my pets get destroyed. Even when we go a little bit further on, let's speed this up because it is taking its time, sizably. Now, I'm going to rush on up here. Woo! Full impulse. Now, if I can catch this, the next thing I want to show you is the way this swarm is animated. Just now, if you've seen it on the Command battlecruiser, then you are going to have an idea already. If there were smaller ships about, you'd be seeing red pulses that look like cannon fire from this. Unlike the beams that you see from the fighter squadrons themselves, you get a cannon variant fired off from these ships if intersecting any targetable torpedoes or incoming fighter craft. Having said that, against bigger enemies you get the animation I'm hoping to show you in a second. There we go. Whoop! This beautiful animation, which is basically, the idea is it's showing micro torpedoes being launched at the target. Oh no. Huh. So I always took it as micro torpedoes being launched at the target. Apparently no, I have had 4 of my swarm break away from the actual flight. And have just smashed themselves into the ship. Essentially ramming speed. Which is fitting, I guess. Now, for a little bit further demonstration, this is probably more of a stats thing, but I feel like it should be shown, as this is kind of my niggly, and why I will not also be doing a visual review of the recent science ship released, the 32nd Century Science Dreadnought. It's for the reason you're about to see from these fighters, is part of it. Just going to let the fighters do their thing. We'll speed it up so you can watch it happen. None of my fighters are going to go down. And they destroyed it. Lost none of my fighters. But if you saw my stats review of the 32nd Century ship, you'll note that almost all of my fighters were destroyed before that target went down. Now then, let's talk about the swarm. Because the swarm is a beautiful aesthetic. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the fact that it affects targeting hitboxes. And I'm not too much of a fan of how low the poly count is on the swarm itself. I understand why. If they were a high detail texture, my word, it would slow down frame rate for every player nearby one of these. So great choice. Kind of wish though when you were on your own and it was only affecting you, you could have an upped texture for it. Yeah, I'm not sure how they didn't play that. What I do want to go on to is where, as I noted earlier, there is a lot of anger and hate towards it. The void space. Now, I'm not a fan of void space myself, if I'm honest. I'm not. I don't understand the need or necessity for it, and if, as you look in this situation, if you take the fact those drones take up all that space there, that's actually a huge area of the ship that is only holding drones, but at least in this case for void space, it has meaning and purpose. All of those drones have a function of defending the ship. You cannot say that that void space that is on either side of its saucer segment means nothing because it's just wasted space, because it's not. It's been utilized. However, in the dead center of the saucer section, that void space, you could argue, why is it there? What point does it serve? Other than for one person to be peeping across at the window of someone across the ship. Hey! I know it's an aesthetic style choice, and I know for some people it's quite a fond one. I also know from going to a place where I often post detailed images so people can see a profile detailing of the ship. Mostly because I know the people I'm posting it on their Facebook page for, they do that kind of detailing shot, so if they ever wanted to look at it, they could just nick my photos if they wanted to, my screenshots if they wanted to. But the thing I want to point here is, as a lot of people say, it's a matter of taste. I may dislike it, you may like it. Let's let bygones be bygones. Because I will say this, as much as I normally don't like void space, for some reason on this ship, it pops for me and I like it. And I don't know why. This is one of the rare occasions I actually like the implementation of void space. Now, another good animation effect, and this is actually something to do with stats again, but I love to see it in its animation. It's a great visual cue. This ship can go straight from swarm mode into dark mode. Oh, and I'm reversing because I'm an idiot. As a result, hopefully I will show it in a second, you get this beautiful animation where it goes into dark mode and then recalls the entire swarm, and it just looks brilliant. And once I realised that I'm going backwards and actually stop the ship, come on Ri'shad, there we go. We end up, well, we end up with this beautiful aesthetic. And it's, I feel a need to argue here that the two aesthetics are both brilliant, but also, actually I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is. It's almost questioning. I'm unsure why or how maneuvering the nacelles in closer inside actually helps improve the ship. All I can think of is it allows for a tighter warp bubble formation and maybe improve stealth while at warp. Now, that's not to say that it's a problem then that it has its nacelles out when at warp sometimes, because again, it can warp in both states. No matter what state you're in, if you go to warp, your ship will stay in that state, except for once you enter the sector space. Obviously it holds its own animation that it has for that space. Unfortunately, it doesn't remember what state you were in before. But at least you can see it warps out in dark mode if you warp out in dark mode. It's nice. I like that. Another thing I really like though is the detailing additions. There's braces under here. That means a lot to me. Having these braces in place literally shows that they thought about the fact that this is currently barely holding on to the ship. And as a result needs that little bit of support there to help it out. Also, it kind of rolls in line with what they said about the Constitution. Those pylons are too spindly to hold the nacelles on. Future tech. It converts itself and takes on the armoured approach, more aggressive approach when in battle, so it manoeuvres them out and attaches them more tightly to the ship. Makes sense. It's braced. It's got locking clamps in place for that. Works. The roll bar never moves. Again, makes sense to me. I do like the fact though that the roll bar appears to have releasing clamps in here. Now, in my opinion, that is a sense Section 31 survival coming into sense. If you take too much damage on a torpedo module, you want to know you can get rid of it quickly before it explodes right over your warp core. Connection points release, and immediately it ejects backwards or something, getting it away from the ship, explodes a distance away and does less damage. You'd hope. With that being said though, I guess we should go back to standard look. So I'm going to talk about the other really nice things about this ship. When I get there. Yeah, I think I left it in this mode a little bit too long. Oh, but on that note, as it converts back, watch the way the sails function. Half of me's like, did they have to rotate again? Because I really liked them when they were on their side. But neither here nor there. I do really like the fact that this bracer extends out the back here, because it really adds to the feel of the ship. Now it feels even more aggressive than it was before. The windows you're seeing along the side of the ship, that's the only argument I want to make on the ship. Like we said here before, you can tell from the size of these ball phaser emitters and their placements just how big this ship actually is, in comparison to say something like the Miranda, and the Constitution for that matter. It's sizably bigger than them. Now in universe not so much, well sorry, in STO not so much, but it's not the point. As a result, the window scaling on the side here doesn't make all that much sense. I'm looking at the way it comes out and just how much depth is lost as it goes there, and I honestly think, yes, they've thought about 3 decks in there. Half of me feels like that should be 5 or maybe 4 decks. Could just be me. Agree or disagree? Send your arguments out to me. Over here, it kind of feels like it's the same issue. I do feel like there should be more decks here. I'm not complaining. I like the implementation of the windows. And I think it looks really nice, especially to that central body bit, which is actually what makes me like the flow of this ship. Don't know why, but that flow backwards into it really hits a different touch with me, and I just like it. The bridge is a nice design too. I'm not a fan of the window, and I kind of wish they gave us, I don't know, a way to hide the bridge window, but then again, I'm never going to be a fan of bridge windows. I'm way too into the old school Trek style. And yes, I know there's nothing wrong with having a bridge window because it's made out of a transparent durasteel. As a result, is it titanium alloy? It's made, the windows on a Starship is actually made from the same material as the rest of the hull of a Starship, except it's made of a transparent version. That's the difference. So no shattering like glass, like people might say. My only gist is, We had a theme set up, and I don't always like certain things being changed. On the other side of things, as is obvious, sometimes I really like things being changed, such as these nacelles. Now, I love the look of the nacelles. I'm not sure what to make of that, what looks like a sensor at the bottom of the nacelle there, but I feel like it just adds a nice look and depth to the ship, so I'm not going to complain too much against it. The Bazaar Collector is a beautiful design. It's very, very high-tech looking. I like the fact that you can see these sort of grill points around the back here. It makes me feel like vents. And then the whole warp coil system just looks beautiful. And the strip on top doesn't hurt. I don't know if I really like it that much, but it doesn't hurt the feel of the ship. The impulse engines, I really like. I'm so glad they're not integrated in. They could have done that. They could have integrated them deeper into the ship there and made it look as more typical to see. But the fact that these follow something along the aesthetic design of the NX class, I will say, and just basically net to me airs prototype and modularity, makes me feel like these are actually far more powerful and more experimental than you find on your typical Constitution class, Crossfield class, Shepherd class. It just makes me feel like these were way more effective than what you were seeing on other ships at the time. And I would expect that from Section 31 again. After all, they are, as much as they say they're looking out for the Federation, they tend to be more looking out for themselves, don't they? Also, this prong approach at the back here, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. I feel like it really adds to the aggressive feel of the ship. It's intimidating, and having that extra prong out there, you can see two what looks like tractor beam nodes on there, which will allow bringing things into the hangar. Speaking of that in a second. And it's lined up in a way where it could easily, if it wants to be vicious and mean that way, easily just grab an enemy and then say, oh look, torpedo launchers, phaser beam emitters. Let's go wild. And just holds an enemy behind the ship and just completely bombards them. After all, we've got two dual phaser ball emitters at the bottom of here, next to what looks kind of like a hangar bay, but probably not. Probably a storage or cargo bay area. Torpedo launchers up above that, and then right up the top of the roll bar, another pair of torpedo launchers. And if we get in close down here, we'll see that there's actually, well, another 2 torpedo launchers underneath that. So that roll bar on the back there is equipped lethally with what I would say 2 heavy torpedo launchers launching very large torpedoes, and 2 standard torpedo launchers, well, 4 standard torpedo launchers below it. It's a very dangerous ship to see. I would not want to fight this ship any day of the week, just from seeing that alone. Oh, and I've just realised, yeah, 2 heavy, 2 lessers on the bottom side here. This ship is armed to the absolute teeth. That is 12 torpedo launchers just in the rear of this ship, with 4 of those launchers being a heavy variety. Now, away from that, let's again go back to the hangar. I love the fact you've got these tractor beam nodes again to help out with the hangar docking. The hangar door looks brilliant, and then you have this nice observation deck, because why not? This ship may eventually go out to the rest of Starfleet. Want to make it feel like it wasn't being too heavily withheld for other people. It's a beautiful starship design. I absolutely adore this. Now, further on with the weapons though, let's go to here. Now you'll note that this ship seems to have less firing forward torpedoes, but not so much. On the roll bar, 2 heavy launchers firing forwards. And if we, oh, where were they? Bother. I forgot where they were. Oh, there they are. If we come underneath here, sorry, you have 3 torpedo launchers either side. I've just realised it's 4. 4 torpedo launchers either side of the deflector. 8 torpedo launchers there. 2 up top. That's 10 forward torpedo launchers. 12 aft. In total, guys, this ship probably has the most number of torpedo launchers of any ship in Star Trek Online at the moment. Almost mimicking the legendary Walker class. The Giorgio class, which has the most insane number of beam emitters with torpedo launchers. We have 22 torpedo launchers. Remembering at the back there, 2, 6, and if I'm noting it right, 6 dual phaser emitters. And that's if you don't include every phaser emitter of the swarm that comes out this ship. This ship is insanely armed. It's way too powerful, but I love it. I thought Dreadnought, I do find it funny that it's got more torpedo launchers than it does beam emitters. And I'm not going to argue with that. It's still a fun ship to fly. Honestly, people. Honestly. I love this ship too much. So I'm going to leave it there. We're not going to talk and look at visual review, visuals of shield visual options. Again, purely because of the whole plating mostly changes the whole lot up. None of them really work with it. And aesthetically, you'll probably find me just moaning at the whole lot. So let's leave it on a positive note. I just realised I didn't put transparent on at any point during that for once. Silly me. Guys, what do you think of this ship visually? Do you like the way she looks? Do you dislike it? Let me know in the comment section below. Can I say a massive thank you to the individuals credited on screen right now for the generosity and support they have shown this channel over the incredible years that some of them have done it for. Because without them, I wouldn't be able to make videos like this. It means the world. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the future. And until next time, remember, live long and prosper. Ciao for now.